So welcome back to Cyber Safe Family. Today we're going to be talking to Matthew Bergman of Social Media Victims Law Center and about what happens once something bad happens to your child. As what we train in schools, we train with students, with parents, with professionals to try to prevent these things from happening. Sometimes the bad things happen, and so what's a parent supposed to do? So Matt, thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I appreciate that. Can you give us a little bit about your background? And as a lawyer, you have all kinds of things you can get into. What kind of focused your attention on this specific area?
Well, for 30 years, I've been representing individuals who are injured or killed from the malfeasance of large corporate entities. That's been a very fulfilling practice. But I've not had the opportunity in my law practice to actually prevent injuries from occurring, only handling the damage once they happen. After Frances Haugen testified, I really understood for the first time how the social media companies intentionally have addicted children to their products that cause horrific damages. And at the same time, I read about the Surgeon General's report documenting an actual epidemic of mental health challenges and crises among American teenagers, culminating in a 146% increase in suicide. And the evidence is all pointing to social media addiction as the cause of that. And so I established the Social Media Victims Law Center as a vehicle to provide parents with an opportunity to seek legal redress from companies who have harmed their children, and sadly, in many cases, cause their children to take their own lives.
Yeah, we unfortunately we see so much more of this, and like you said, through the Surgeon General's report, the CDC's report, even before COVID happened, we saw a huge increase in teen suicides and depression rates. So, what are some kind of examples of how you are helping parents? What kind of cases can you give kind of some specific cases that you're helping parents with?
Absolutely. And the focus of our litigation work is product liability. It's our position that these social media products that children use actually are addictive, that the screen time that they use is maximized based on algorithms designed by the companies specifically to addict kids and to keep them online for as long as possible. And that's very simple. That's how they make their money. So what we are doing, and we have done, is file lawsuits against these companies, holding them responsible under product liability theory. And these lawsuits are only beginning, so I can't say what the outcome is going to be. I know it's going to be a tough fight, but it has to happen. Parents around the world are saying enough is enough. These products are just reaping mayhem on their children and on their families. And unless these companies are forced to pay the social costs of their defective products, they're not going to change their behavior.
Excellent. Is there kind of specific types of cases that you can help families at the highest level, where you can say, I can help you
yes,
at the highest level?
I mean, I think parents, and hopefully parents should never have to come to us. Parents should be able to have the opportunity to find out what their kids are doing on social media apps, to limit the amount of time that their kids spend online, because we know that simply sleep deprivation in and of itself has significant mental health consequences on children. And so we're hopeful that, we don't want to see parents coming to us, because that means their children have already suffered grievous harm. The cases that we handle involve parents whose children have sadly taken their lives or attempted to do so, children who have been sexually abused through online contact with adults posing as minors, children who have harmed themselves in other ways or undergone significant eating disorders or severe depression. Basically, children who have had to be seen by a doctor or a mental health professional as a result of challenges and sequelae arising out of social media addiction.
Excellent. So if a parent who has a child who's going through these things, the first step would probably be go to your website, right? And that'd be correct. That's socialmediavictims.org.
And fortunately, our website has a lot of information that doesn't just involve filing a lawsuit. We want to be a resource for parents before they have a legal claim and hopefully never have a legal claim. We provide information on the various challenges that social media imposes on children, such as bullying, sexual exploitation, and things like that. And so I think that and also hopefully provides parents with tools both to monitor the content of their social media, their child's social media activity, and also take responsive actions, including parents have the right to tell social media companies to turn it off. I mean, we know that, teenagers are resourceful. They don't always tell parents the things they're doing. That's not unique to social media. That's always been the case. But parents have an obligation to look after their teens. I mean, look, teenagers make bad decisions. That's what they do. That's what we all did when we were teenagers. There's nothing unexpected about that. The problem is that social media, it's like you take a bullhorn to bad decisions. It amplifies them and also doesn't provide parents with an avenue to know what's going on. Look, when we were teenagers and we acted up, our parents would ground us, right? And, I'm sure we weren't very pleasant to be around the house when we were grounded as teenagers, but our parents knew that we were safe at home. And the problem with these social media vehicles is that even within the four walls of parents' homes, their children aren't safe. And so what we're trying to do is empower parents to hold these companies accountable if their kids suffer grievous injury, but hopefully, more importantly, prevent these injuries from happening in the first place by more effectively monitoring their children's content and contacting social media companies and say, take my kid off. One of the things that we've learned through our discovery is that and teens are resourceful. They'll oftentimes set up multiple accounts based on the same URL, to try to keep their parents from knowing what's going on. Okay, that's what teenagers do. But the companies know about these multiple accounts, and they know actually where an underage child is online. Parents can and should, where appropriate, contact the media companies and say, take my kid off. I'm the parent. Parenting is not a democracy. Parents have an obligation to protect their kids and a responsibility to do so. And we are very much of the belief that parents have a responsibility. We're not trying to take parents off their responsibility. We are trying to empower parents to exercise their responsibility over their kids in an effective and productive way.
Yeah, that's I agree with you 100%. The thought process of a lot of the tech companies that 13 is the kind of the new age of adulthood online is it really goes against what the ability for parents to monitor what they're doing and to control what their children are. So I agree with you 100% there. So
and I can just is that 13. They say that 13 is the age, but they know and we know that many kids get on social media as early as 9 or 10. It's self-identified. They say I'm 13. They click the mark and say I can participate. I wish when I was in high school trying to buy a beer, I could just click a box and say I'm 21. Doesn't work that way. And the social media companies have many abilities to actually verify age. They don't do so because they make money even on 9-year-olds.
Oh yeah, so we're in schools a lot, and even down to the first grade, second grade, third grade. These most of the kids are on social media at some point. And you're right, it's like going into the liquor store and saying, just asking how old you are. Well, I'm 18. Well, I can't sell you. I'm 19. I can't sell you. I'm 21. Okay, now I can sell you. Just by saying, I trust what you're saying. So
we have a tragic case involving a child who was 11 years old who took her life after being addicted to social media. She got online when she was 9. Her mother didn't even know she was online.
That is awful, and that's same. We have definitely the same goal because our as a detective, as investigating these things, that was the reason we went to prevention. Is that it's great to help to find the people who do these horrible things to kids online, but the problem is that our goal is to really prevent these things from happening through education. So we're definitely, I think, aligned in that as well.
Well, I really applaud what you're doing because, and this is where warnings can make a difference. We know that, about 60% of our female clients are solicited or groomed by adult males, and they all use the same MO. Why aren't the media companies giving kids and parents some telltale signs how to identify somebody posing as an adult? So what you're doing, I mean, I'm impressed with what you're doing, and you know this work is really going to save lives, and that's so important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think really for change, especially for companies, there can be all kinds of different pressures put on them, but in the end, it's the legal system, it's the litigation that really drives change a lot for these companies. So I appreciate what you're doing. So for a parent who has has a child who's been harmed, like I don't know if I have uh, a situation that can be litigated, or if I don't, and they go to your website and they fill out a form, kind of what's the next step that they should expect?
Well, we look into, they contact us and they provide us with some very basic information, the nature of the harm that has been sustained, and the nature of the social media use, and then we get in touch with we speak with them, we fill out some forms, and we determine whether or not it makes sense to file a case. Look, we're not sue happy people. As lawyers, we have an ethical responsibility to only file cases that we think are meritorious. And there are many cases where children are having adverse impacts from social media that are very serious, but don't rise to the level of a lawsuit. And so what we'll do is evaluate, and if we don't think the case should be pursued legally, we'll be candid with the clients and tell them that. But where we do, we'll proceed. And we believe, as you said, that the only way that these companies are going to change their behavior is if you hit them in the pocketbook. And that's precisely what we're trying to do.
Excellent, Matt. So do you have some kind of final words for our parents? Like I said, I've got 1,000 questions for you, but I know you have some pressing things coming up, very important things. So,
I guess what I'd say is as horrible as this situation is, and there's nothing more horrible for a parent than losing a kid. I mean, you think about what is the most basic instinct we have as human beings. It's not eating, it's not procreating, it's not even self-preservation, it's protection of our children. And that is the ultimate essential behind all of our behaviors. And we as parents would do anything in the world to protect our kids. We'd jump in front of a moving train. There's all sorts of things we would do. And so these companies are hurting our kids, and we need to hold them accountable, and that's what we're here to do. And I guess the only bright side of this is that around the world, not just in the United States, parents are standing up and saying enough is enough. And in our very, very polarized political climate, this is an issue that Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives are coming together as parents and saying enough is enough. We need to protect our kids and hold these companies accountable.
absolutely, the wave has definitely began to build, and I'm glad to be a part of that with you. So you enjoy your day, and I appreciate you being here today with us, and love to have you back again.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and be well. God bless.